And more lighthearted disappointments of 2022. I put for my number 2 moment, I wouldn't say word, it's just like disappointment, is the New York Mets. And the awful, minuscule postseason run that happened. Basically, I think the Mets were one of the top favorites to do it all this year, at least make it longer than what we did in the postseason, and they absolutely fumbled the bag. For those of you that don't know, the Mets have one of the top salaries spent in the MLB. I think it's literally the Yankees, Dodgers, and the New York Mets. And we're super excited, obviously, with Steve Cohen. We have a billionaire as an owner, finally, someone who can spend money, which they have been spending plenty of money in the offseason, and I agree with most of their moves. But I just think it's so disappointing when your team gets so hyped up and you're like, yes, this is the year, like this is going to happen. And then they just absolutely fall apart in the postseason and quite literally don't do shit. So I feel like that's very valid for one of my worst sports moments, because I think we can all relate to thinking your team is going to go all the way and then just being a massive disappointment and big fat losers.
But baseball is so different, right? I mean, you guys are essentially, there's no salary cap. In baseball, you're purchasing a World Series. The more you spend, the more likely it is you win a World Series. So to spend the way you guys have and to perform at the end of the season that way, I mean, you're just throwing away money at that point. If the way you guys have spent this offseason, if you guys don't win 2023, I wouldn't know what to do. You're spending $50 million more than the Yankees. You're spending $80 million more than the Phillies. Like, you're outpacing everybody by millions of dollars. Like, at this point, if you don't win next year, like, I wouldn't know what else to do. Like, the team's stacked. Like, it's so much money.
It's insane. And I think, and again, like, the Yankees and Mets are in that top 3. And when's the last time either of them won a World Series?
I mean, there's obviously more to it than money, but you're essentially buying it. You're buying it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not strategic. It's just like, we're fucking buying a World Series. We're buying players. Like,
yeah, and
go
I think,
win.
Again, that's a part of the disappointment because having a millionaire owner compared to a billionaire owner is very different. Like we've seen. Literally, and I talk about this concept all the time because people are like, oh, it's just a billion. Like, go and Google the comparison of $1 million and $1 billion. It's pretty hard to spend even $1 billion in your entire lifetime. So this man is a multi-billionaire. And, like, Mets fans were super excited, including myself. Like, finally, someone who's going to spend on this team. That's awesome. This is it. And like you said, in the MLB, you're basically buying a World Series. Like, you're buying the championship. So the Mets finally, after all these years just having the ups and mostly downs, were like, this is it. Like, this man's going to buy us a championship. And then for it to turn out and end the 22 season in the way it did, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like this would only happen to the Mets.
Truly. I'm frustrated for different reasons because their owners refuse to spend the money to buy a World Series. Like, we're spending $80 million so far as of 2023, which is significantly under what the Mets, the Yankees, or pretty much anyone else is spending. We're spending under the league average. As the 3rd biggest market in the country. But yeah, I mean, if we were spending over $250 million, like, I'm going to expect a ring to come in, like, you're paying for something, but at that point the blame's not on the owners in the Mets world. I mean,
no,
the
not
blame
anymore. You really can't blame the owners anymore.
No, he's putting out the money. It's on the GM to get the right guys. It's on the coaches to get the best out of those guys. And if you're a person being paid that much money, like, you're going to need to perform and you're going to need to win. So yeah, I mean, you don't have an owner problem. I mean, everything else maybe, but you don't have an owner problem.
No, and I think that the owner and the front office was like a big scapegoat for Mets fans for years, and understandably so. But like you said, that can't be it anymore. So things need to change on the field, and it's just like we lost in a wild card series to the San Diego Padres, who weren't even supposed to fucking be in the postseason.
I mean, yeah, Tatis wasn't playing.
No. Like, who are you? Like, oh, I didn't even, like, what? No. And I'm interested to see, and I'm hopeful for 2023. But like you said, if it doesn't happen, I don't know.
I don't know how Yankees fans have gone all these years watching their owners spend this much money to get nothing out of it. How have the Yankees not won a World Series in so long?
I mean, I love it for them.
I'm not going to cry about it. They have like 1,000, so
I was going to say, I love to see it for them. I hate to see it for the Mets.
Yeah, yikes.
Maybe there's something in that New York air.
New York just doesn't breed. I mean, New York sports teams at the moment, it's been a rocky ride for a little bit.
I mean, but right now, Jets and Giants. Look at us.
Facts. Look at us. I have big hopes for the Mets in 2023. So,
me too.
We'll see what happens. We might be talking about them again next year.
Hopefully they're my top, though, not my worst.
I hope so.